Hello and welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Cirrus might be over there. I'm not sure. I think I heard a thunk.
I made it in time.
You're back. All right. Just right at the wire. Under the wire? Is that the phrase? I don't know. I don't know phrases.
I can't see anything on Zoom, by the way.
You can't see anything on Zoom. Okay. Yeah, correct. I should probably do that. Oh, no. I still need to turn on my camera. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, I can see things now.
Okay, so in theory, I'm currently streaming on both YouTube and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
In theory. YouTube says I have an excellent connection. Twitch, where'd Twitch go? I have too many windows open.
Twitch says you have 14 followers.
Twitch says I have 14 followers. When I get 50 followers, I get to apply to be an affiliate, which means I'm technically not allowed to stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time anymore when that happens, but I don't think they have the manpower to police that.
They don't.
Oh.
Also, everybody who's on my stream, do me the huge favor of going to Rhino's Twitch. I've gone ahead and linked it again. I'll link it like 12 times. That way it's easy to click in case you guys have issues clicking it.
Yeah.
You can go follow his channel. There you go.
So I set this up somewhat in a rush. I did have the foresight to turn off the sound for the notification when I get a new follower. Because yeah, I feel like that's gonna be going off for a while.
It might. You're at 29 now. we're gonna get you to 50. I swear to God.
Yeah. So I haven't actually set up any fancy stuff, although I'm already getting Cirrus emojis in the chat. Which I didn't know you could use emojis cross-channel like that on Twitch. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, as long as you're subscribed to somebody's channel, you gain their emojis for use in anybody else's channel.
Oh, so I can use your emojis in my channel, but I can't use my emojis in my channel because I'm not an affiliate yet.
Yes.
That's nice.
So what happens at 50? At 50, you guys get to see Vice Rhino and lingerie.
Oh, I don't have that clip ready. I'm sure I could find it. God damn it. Okay, so... Hey, I might be able to turn off the followers, what's it called, goal.
Let me see here. I'm going to hop over on YouTube as well because people are asking for the link. So I'm going to hop over there so I can throw the link to your Twitch at them as well.
Oh, we got a Pernia. I'm currently in negotiations with Pernia for doing the graffiti thing that we talked about last time.
Excellent.
I feel like I'm being difficult. So, Pernia, I'd like to apologize to everybody. Or apologize to you in front of everybody for being difficult. Now, that said, I have told you to email me, and you keep messaging me on Twitter. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I see you are the biggest problem. Also, I can't access your chat on YouTube. That's fun.
Follower goal met. You can't access my chat on YouTube?
It just says hide chat. It just says hide chat. It's a YouTube problem, not a you problem.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I hit my follower goal. Yay. I can apply to be an affiliate or whatever it is now. What was I going to say? There was something. Oh yeah, did I mention that I haven't set up anything on Twitch yet as far as like fun interactions go aside from
You mentioned that.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, the dog is bothering me. I don't know what she wants, but she's all over me right now.
Well, we hit your Twitch goal in the first 10 minutes you were live on Twitch. We did it.
Yay. And the first 5 minutes of that was a standby screen.
That's a world record somewhere, I'm sure. I said after Twitch TV it's Vice Rhino. Yeah, there we go.
There it is. Clickable link in the chat.
Finally. I finally can see your chat. I don't know what changed. It just did after a while.
Yeah. So, how's your week going?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. We can avoid talking about it then.
The short of it is I am coasting on medication.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in the middle of remodeling a bathroom, and I have found mold and rot in the bathroom. So I'm having a grand old time.
Sorry, I just had to knock that off the shelf there because I realized that was a shipping package with my address on it.
Oh yeah.
Best not to have that in the background.
Calling attention to it will definitely help your anonymity.
I have a feeling my webcam is not good enough to worry about that.
Fair enough.
I literally flashed my pill bottle with my full name and address and everything on it on stream once, and I went through it frame by frame. It's like, nah, every single frame is too blurry.
But people already know your full name. It's Vice Rhino.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's my full name.
Yeah, I don't... what's new? Just like apparently according to the death threat I just got, my full name is Surus the Atheist. I'm not...
I know that that's not your real name.
Yeah, you know that's not my real name.
I know your real name.
I know your real name too.
Surus,
Here we are.
Surus, I know your phone number.
Yeah, you do actually.
Yeah, and you know mine because we're on WhatsApp together, and that requires phone numbers or something.
I'm like, wait, hold on. Do you? Yeah, no, you do know my phone number. Oh, oop.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I thought, as a little treat today, instead of picking on the U.S. all evening long,
are we picking on the UK?
No, we're picking on Canada.
Oh, so we get to blame Canada?
Well, not blame Canada so much as... Oh, no, first, this is what Pernie has been working on. Okay, let's...
Oh, that looks really good.
Okay, these alerts have to move. Nope, that's the background. Oh, that is everything, because apparently I grouped them together. Okay. Okay, that's how I do.
Lord of Ooze Collect Vice's real name is Eric. Next, she'll tell me the last name is Hovind. Okay. Or some anagram thereof.
What's this? The notification stopped? Oh, no, I put them underneath the... Yeah, okay, there we go. So I still want to see them. Let's just stick them right over my face.
We don't need to see that. It's fine.
Why not? Yeah. So this was the prototype that Pernie has sent to me. This is not the final. This was just kind of a like I can do a graffiti style. Vice Real first name was leaked at some point, but I can't remember it, and probably wouldn't post it if I could. It wasn't leaked. I just said it. My name is Justin.
It was also when a Godless Engineer was on, and he just like reflexively said Justin.
Oh no.
Then,
My actual. Oh come on, where the fuck is the? Why is the chat box so far over there? Nope. I don't know why all my crap is moving around right now.
Welcome to Twitch. It's cursed everything.
No, this is Streamlabs. No, not Streamlabs. I don't use that one anymore. OBS. All right, there we go. Yeah, no. So my real first name has been out there for a long time. I leaked that one myself because I figured I was going to accidentally drop it at some point.
Yeah, same thing I did with mine.
I don't remember how long ago I first said it, but yeah, no, and even like. I don't know. I'm not all that concerned about my name getting leaked. The problem is I have children, and I'm concerned about them and their safety. And since I apparently have a job where sometimes death threats are a part of the job,
yeah,
I'd like to not have my children be involved in that at all.
I'm just imagining you right now as like an action hero person going, I'm not worried for my children's safety. I'm worried about your safety if you threaten them.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say anybody that issues a death threat against me can probably beat me up. I'm not a fighter.
Yeah, we don't get action hero Rhino, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, we're going to so that's Pernia's thing. We're going to talk about Canada because we applauded some Nazis a couple weeks ago.
Great.
So yeah, Anthony Rota was the Speaker of the House, and he brought one of his constituents in when President Zelensky was addressing Parliament. Mm-hmm. He brought one of his constituents in, and it was like, oh, well, this is a like he's a war veteran. He fought for Ukrainian independence from Russia. You know, he's a war hero. Let's all give him a round of applause. And everybody gave him a round of applause. And then it came out over the course of the weekend that like, oh, he was part of the Waffen SS. Like he wasn't just a Nazi. He was a Nazi that was part of the military that had to volunteer and were like the most gung-ho of the Nazis and like probably committed war crimes. Like so, in the article they say like, oh, the war crimes are alleged. They haven't been substantiated. It's like, yeah, but they're part of the Waffen SS. That's like that group.
That's uber Nazi.
Like that's uber Nazi. That group, like basically, if you're part of an SS division, a Waffen SS division, it's no longer innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty until proven innocent. Like, show us that you did not commit a war crime, and then we'll consider maybe believing you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so he wasn't just a Nazi. He was like one of the worst of the worst, and our parliament applauded him. But that's because the Speaker of the House introduced him as like just a Ukrainian war hero. He didn't mention the Nazi thing.
He did the thing I did with there's a video I did a while back where it was about the different ways that somebody can manipulate how your perspective on something is. And I described us using toothbrushes, but I used like very, very descriptive words, but never used any of the words for toothbrush or medicine cabinet or anything like that. Yeah. And there were a lot of people that were just like, we thought that was some just weird tribe out somewhere that had a weird set of practices. I'm like, no, I just described brushing your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how the way you show information to somebody can lead to them having the wrong perspective on it very, very quickly. If you just lead with this person fought against Russia and you like that because we're against Russia right now. Okay, but they fought against Russia when Russia was one of our allies in World War II. The different connotation.
Yeah, slightly.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so Liberal MP Anthony Rota is stepping down as so this is the thing is that yeah, he accidentally had a Nazi applauded on Parliament. How did he respond to that? He's stepping down. He's resigning in shame.
So did he just not do a background check or what?
Well, okay, I'll get into that in a bit. So we don't actually know the specifics of how this specific instance happened, but background checks come into play here at some point. MPs, that's members of parliament on all sides, said that this embarrassing incident was unforgivable. And as he resigned, he said, "The work of this house is above any of us. Therefore, I must step down as your speaker." So, a little behind the scenes, I was all proud of myself because I got this whole stream was like set up yesterday. I got everything done. I wasn't scrambling at the last minute for anything. And then the news broke that Speaker McCarthy was ousted. And I was like, ah, shit, now I'm going to have to redo the things. I'm like, no, you know what? Canada had a speaker that was ousted. I'll talk about our speaker, because everybody losing their speakers nowadays. The difference is how we go about doing it. See, our speaker did something shameful and then resigned in shame. And he was replaced by the first ever black speaker of the House in Canada. Fun fact. And just tonight, Canada elected its first ever Indigenous premier of a province in Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Canada's being all progressive and stuff while we applaud Nazis.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Okay, to be fair, I would like to say all, but I don't know that for a fact, so I am going to say most of the people applauding did not know that he was a Nazi. They just knew that he was a later on in the article they talked to some of the MPs who were of Jewish origin and like Holocaust survivors or children of Holocaust survivors. They were like, I felt disgusted and sick when I learned that I had applauded a Nazi.
That's the normal response to that.
Yeah, but it's not like they knew he was a Nazi and they were applauding, hoping that they would just never get caught applauding a Nazi. It was like, I think this is a Ukrainian war hero. Oops, it was a Nazi. I should not have applauded that man. Ew.
At least that's better than what happens in America when shit like that goes down. But they're like, you liberals call anybody you don't like a Nazi.
Yeah, that one's going to come... that point's going to come back later, too.
Oh, boy.
That'll come up in the tweets, not in the article, though. So, yeah, on Friday, this is not this past Friday, but the one before that, Rhoda invited Ukrainian veteran Yaroslav Hunka, constituent of his from North Bay, to sit in Parliament during Zelensky's address to Parliament. And then over the weekend, it emerged that he was part of the 1st Ukrainian Division, which was the Waffen SS Galicia Division. Galicia? I'm not sure how to say. There's a lot of Ukrainian and Polish names in this article that I'm just going to issue blanket apology for how bad I'm going to pronounce them. Also, I know it's not Waffen, it's Waffen. But I don't know. For me to say Waffen, I feel like that would be like the guy who comes back from Italy talking about how he likes mozzarella on his pizza.
I want some mozzarella.
Just call it mozzarella, man.
So you're just sitting there going like, I don't think what you're doing is racist, but it feels like it. So stop.
When I dabbled with playing video games on a game streaming channel, one of the first games I played was Super Mario Brothers, the one for the Super Nintendo, and I kept on doing the Mario voices, and I had people in the comments being like, "Come on, man, that's racist. Don't do Italian stereotype voices."
Just like this is literally Charles Martinet's Mario voice. You'll be okay.
Oh my God! Did you see the tweet? Somebody tweeted that because Charles Martinet is like last line ever recorded for Nintendo before he retired was like something for. Like, it was something for the Mario movie, and it was like something touching. I forget what the line was, but the way they posted it was like, this is the last thing that he gave us before he left us forever. And I was like, what? He died? Charles Martinet died? What? And start Googling. It's like, no, he just retired, man. Don't talk about him like that. Stop scaring me.
Yeah.
He's so wholesome. Have you seen the interviews with him?
I've actually seen him at convention.
He just seems like a sweet person.
It does seem like that. I've never gotten bad vibes. I've never had a conversation with him, and I refused to stay in the line that was there for his signatures. But he seemed very wholesome when I saw him at Too Many Games convention. He had a booth there.
Oh. Yeah. Poland is trying to get him extradited so they can prosecute him for war crimes. Because, he's a war criminal.
Yeah.
The Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center, which is a Jewish rights group, they said Rhoda's action compromised all 338 MPs and handed a propaganda victory to Russia. I'm not sure what they mean by compromise there, but it definitely was a propaganda victory for Russia. Because they've got that whole thing where it's like, oh look, there's that division of the Ukrainian army that's full of Nazis.
And Putin's been doing his whole we need to denazify Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's been his method of going about this.
Yeah, and they're also calling on the Commons Procedure and House Affairs Committee to hold public hearings to investigate what took place and examine the vetting process failures that led to this. And also, so now we're going to get into a bit of a history lesson.
Oh boy.
Did you know that Canada was a bit of a safe haven for Nazis fleeing, or Nazis after World War II?
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Now, from what I've read, it appears to be basically just one guy who was actively trying to get them over here. And then it was just a failure of other people to do the appropriate background checks or any sort of thorough checking. So what happened was there was a bunch of Waffen SS POWs that this one Canadian, I think he was in the Air Force, the Air Force commander or something. He so what they did is they changed the name of their division just at the end of the war because they realized that Waffen SS, the other countries that are kicking our ass aren't going to treat us too nicely if we stick with that name. So they changed their name to something else, something a bit more innocuous. And then this guy, he basically knew that they changed their name. He knew what they were, but he was kind of turning a blind eye. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna submit your paperwork for refugee status to Canada under this new name of your unit and say that you were forced into fighting for Hitler and not that it was a volunteer force," which it absolutely was. And the Canadian authorities did not do thorough enough job vetting those people.
So it just passed
through. It was also, I do have to say at this point, England helped with that, probably out of self-interest, where it's there are all these Nazi troops in Europe that are going to be causing trouble for us if they stay in Europe. Well, if Canada's on the verge of taking a bunch of them, so let's give them a little nudge. Tell them oh, maybe don't look too closely into this one. And something like 2,000 of these soldiers ended up in Canada. But we don't actually know the full number because there was, when this kind of came to light in the 1980s, the government commissioned a report, which is now the Deschênes Commission, which was to investigate the extent of the Ukrainian Nazi activities in post-Second World War Canada. Only half of that report was ever made public. It was the half that was basically yeah, we fucked up and harbored a bunch of Nazis. But the part that was and these are the Nazis, please extradite them and take them away for war crimes or whatever, that part was left private. And so now people are calling to have that made public.
So this is literally a clerical error from years ago that is now coming to bite everybody in the ass.
Yeah, so what probably happened was that the Speaker of the House, Rhoda, he just saw that he was he saw the paperwork on the guy that he was he fought for Ukraine in World War II. He didn't see that he fought for Ukraine but not really Ukraine. It was actually the Waffen SS. He just saw the name of the division and it was one that didn't really have bad things attached to it if you didn't dig.
So this is somebody, if I were to give full benefit of the doubt, this was probably somebody who had 1,000 sets of paperwork before and after this, so this was just a stamp and let them move on type of deal.
Probably, yeah.
And now we're here, and now this is blowing up in their faces oh shit, hold on.
Yeah, so now we get Government House Leader Karina Gould, who is of Jewish descent, said she's horrified she celebrated Hanukkah. The Ontario MP also posed for a picture with the man after Friday's festivities. This is very emotional for me. My family are Jewish Holocaust survivors. I would never in a million years have stood and applauded someone who aided the Nazis. And yet she was tricked into doing just that, essentially.
Again, all it takes is omitting or slightly altering, while not being entirely untruthful, any information you give to an audience to completely change the perspective that audience has about literally any topic.
Yeah, so that's basically all I really wanted to talk about here. So, yeah, just thought it would be a nice change of pace to not be shitting on the U.S. every single time.
And today we're blaming Canada.
Today we're blaming Canada. And then we're comparing that to the U.S. and seeing how, like, well, when we fuck up, our people take responsibility and resign, and then we hire progressive people to replace them.
Yeah, when we fuck up, people just start making apologetics for them. People just like, no, you don't understand. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't mean that about Jewish space lasers. She's not really a Nazi.
Oh, God. We
think, maybe. I'm still...
I don't think that.
I think she is one, honestly. You don't say Jewish space laser. You don't put Jewish as a pejorative on something, as a descriptor, without having at least a couple of those beliefs. Like, just a couple of qualifying ones.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, next up...
I wish Marcus would beat her.
Next up, we get why Trump's fraud trial doesn't have a jury. Did you hear about this one?
I did hear about this one. I saw some pictures of his lawyer where they were just like, when you forget to check the box that says trial by jury.
Yep. So now before I actually have a thing that I want to play, but before I do, there might be a copyright problem. I don't know if you want to mute on your end because there is music in this that is for sure copyrighted, but like it's a very short clip. And I sped it up and pitch shifted it so it's in the wrong key. So it should be fine.
So on my end, I actually delist my VODs from Twitch when I'm done so that they don't get DMCA hits. I should be okay.
So Twitch doesn't do that live?
Twitch will do it live, but the likelihood of them doing it live is way lower than them doing it when it's in your VODs. It's weird.
Okay. Because... I just thought this was hilarious, so let's hear that.
It's featuring Donald Trump.
I love that judge.
It looks like we're watching a sitcom.
Yeah, no, that's
amazing.
Yeah, no, that's what the person did. He was like, he saw the camera angle and he was like, "That's hilarious. I'm gonna put like sitcom music and credits and stuff." And I love the way Justice Engeron like looks at the camera and like is like, what's it called? Preening for the camera? No, that's not.
Yeah,
sure. Anyway,
said, wait, both sides didn't put trial by jury. Hold on, let me see if it is called that.
Let's see if what's
now. I'm
up.
Curious. Prim, preen, and pose to make oneself sleek. Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah,
why not?
All right, so we all know the basics. There's a $250 million lawsuit against Donald Trump, his sons, his adult sons, his chief associates, and his business empire. And it's going forward without a jury. There's a 35-page decision granting Letitia James's partial judgment, granting her a partial judgment in her favor, stemming from claims that her lawsuit, which alleged a decade of fraud, Naram to put rhino justice. I think that's the scales of justice. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a rhino something. So decades of frauds that exaggerated the former president's net worth by hundreds of millions of dollars. Did you see that Trump is off the Fortune 500 or the Fortune top 400 wealthiest people in America list?
I actually did not see that.
Yes, he's no longer on the list. And I imagine And knowing him and how narcissistic he is, he probably is bothered more by that than all his legal troubles.
He'd rather die with his titles intact.
Yeah. Well, because like he committed a bunch of fraud in order to get on that list to begin with, and to maintain that list, and to try and move his way up that list. So the fact that he's no longer on it, and it's Truth Social's fault.
Oh?
Yeah, because because of the massive failure that Truth Social is, it took like $600 billion of value out of its parent company.
Oh.
And that kicked him off the list. Poor widow baby.
I want to feel bad about that. I can't.
Why would you want to feel bad about that?
Because I'm still a human being and so is he.
Oh no, he only has $1 billion instead of 3.
Oh,
the fuck are you on about, man?
It's just one of those, like, when you do something that's very, very small that fucks things up.
Yeah,
the Truth Social thing was a giant bitch fit from him.
But if
I got kicked off Twitter, I'll make my own Twitter with blackjack and hookers.
But if I do something small that fucks things up, that can potentially mean that I don't have food for my family.
That's fair.
Trump did a big fuck up, and he still has plenty of food for his family.
What he needs most of is soup for his family, though. So, oh no, he might go bankrupt again.
Yeah, really? So a judge determined that a trial is not necessary to determine that Mr. Trump's financial statements were fraudulent, so it is a matter of public record. He is a fraud. And I think, I might be wrong on this one, I ain't a law talking guy, but I think because this is a civil suit, there's no appeals here. It's like, because it's not criminal. Isn't that what happened to Alex Jones? Like,
I think so, yeah.
He can't appeal the judgment that was based on what was it? He couldn't appeal the damages.
He did file for them. He tried to file for them at the very least, but
yeah, he tried a bunch of legal shenanigans, but you can't appeal. And so, like, the first thing I thought when I saw that, like, oh, his lawyer forgot to check a box is like, oh, well, that's an easy appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel. Like, wait a minute.
But he can't.
No,
appeal
it's not. It's
case.
not appealable. I think I might be wrong on that one. I haven't seen any news outlets cover that one way or the other.
Civil cases, parties may appeal to higher courts still. In criminal cases, only the defendant has a right to appeal in most states, but in a civil case, any party can appeal. So you're that's the difference.
Okay. That is confusing to me then. Because so then why couldn't Alex appeal? Because I know there was something with him where he's not able to appeal.
I can look at that real quick, because in November was when he was ruled that he had to pay. Because you're talking about the Sandy Hook stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Appeal. Lawyers told Reuters that the ruling went against decades of precedent. They will try to appeal it. I think they just tried and failed. I'm not seeing anything past November right now on that particular case. Okay, no, he appealed. There was another appeal in June where he appealed the $1.4 billion defamation case. But I'm not seeing anything on how that actually ended up going over. So
okay.
I have a giant question mark there.
Okay. All right, we will default judgment or something. He lost by default because he refused to comply with discovery.
Oh, okay. That's why.
That might have been it.
So we were looking at the wrong red herring.
Maybe. Whatever. We're talking about Alex Jones when we're supposed to be talking about Trump.
They're both
both fraudsters. Some fat fraud. Yeah, so Mr. Trump and his co-defendants could have avoided an outcome determined by Judge Engeron if their attorneys simply requested a jury. The judge explained during the first day of trial on 2nd of October that the case had no jury because neither side had asked for one. In July, a form filled out by Letitia James' office included a box with two options: trial by jury demanded or trial without jury. The filing included a checkmark in trial without jury. Attorneys for Mr. Trump did not fill out any such form, nor did they file a response. So it's not necessarily that she forgot to check a box. It's that there was a form that she could have filled out as part of this process, but didn't. And when it was filed by Letitia James, like when you get the court filing or whatever, your lawyers get a chance to like respond to that. And that would have been the appropriate time to respond and say, yeah, no, we actually do want a trial by jury. And they didn't do that.
Gotcha. So neither side wanted there to be a jury here.
Yeah. Yeah. So
interesting.
But most media is presenting this as Trump's lawyer forgot to check a box. It's not that she forgot to check a box. It's that they didn't issue a response to a form that was filed from Letitia James's office, which is not necessarily better, but it's less overtly silly.
Fair.
You also have to keep in mind that Trump is at the bottom of the barrel for lawyers right now because like nobody will work for him anymore. All the good lawyers are demanding payment in advance because he has a history of not paying his lawyers. And so that leaves him, if he doesn't want to pay in advance, that leaves him with the bad lawyers.
He gets to do the Eggman thing from Sonic Heroes. When I successfully take over the world, I will pay you. Okay, buddy.
Yeah, and during the first day of trial, Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, claimed that her client did want a jury. It's like, well, then you should have submitted the box, then. You should have submitted the paperwork. So Mr. Engeron, who spoke slowly and deliberately as he outlined what will be the course of the trial, which is expected to last more than 2 months, has pledged to preside fairly over the case. And I love this last line. He says, "I promise to do my best. Despite my lame attempts at humor, I take my job very seriously, and I know the counsel and parties do likewise." It's like, I love this judge. Like the way he's posing for the camera and the way has this self-deprecating, like, yeah, I have lame jokes.
But at least he recognizes he has the lame jokes, unlike Trump that just wants everybody to laugh with him no matter what he says.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's why his crowd sizes are getting smaller, because like even the most hardcore of Trump people have got to, at this point, like going to the rallies, like he's just saying the same things over and over again. It's
yeah.
Like, oh, he's talking about dishwashers not washing your dishes properly again. I haven't heard that before.
There's only so many years of that you can take before you're like, well, it's like you don't go to every single comedy night that the same stand-up comedian is doing because you know he's going to use the same jokes over and over again. He has to.
Yeah.
In before Trump can't actually pay somebody to write any of his material anymore, so he's forced to recycle it. He can't afford to pay somebody to write his scripts.
Yeah, Fennec says, like, why the hell would I want to work for someone who is the world's worst client and won't pay me? LOL, yeah. No.
Basically, like if you've got a history of not paying, that's already a big enough red flag. But if you've got a history of not paying and also you're Donald Trump, the amount of sympathy you can possibly get there is nil.
Less than lucid, said Boomer Dad Judge.
Just that he's the good guy in the scenario. No matter what he says or does, you can't get mad at him.
Yeah.
This is the type of judge you would expect on an episode of Home Improvement.
Yeah. I remember Home Improvement. Okay. Last story of the night. Tim Ballard, the guy who is the centerpiece of the Sound of Freedom movie, sexually harassed and spiritually manipulated employees, women claim. Surprise,
wait a minute.
Surprise.
Is this why I got that copyright hit?
Why? Did you play a clip from the Sound of Freedom?
No, I didn't. I just talked. So I talked about the guy who helped fund the Kickstarter, who ended up, he got in trouble for trafficking. I just did a video on that, reading an article, and that video got hit with a copyright claim. And then I disputed the claim, And then YouTube sent me back we don't think you actually have the grounds to dispute this claim. So we're not going to do anything with this. And you don't get to get your video back. But it was just a handful of days ago, around late September, actually, when this article came out. That's weird. That's strange. Probably coinky dink.
So am I going to get hit with a copyright claim for talking about this?
God, it would be fucking hilarious if you did.
Well, no, we all know that if I get hit with a copyright claim, it's going to be the it's going to be this.
See, I don't actually hear any music from that at all. So.
You don't hear the music?
Nope. I don't.
Oh, it was, well, it's Okay. I'm sorry that my audio routing is messed up. Go watch that on my stream. You'll hear it. So yeah, there, you're safe from the copyright thing. It's all me this time. Anyway, a group of women who allegedly experienced abuse. Allegedly. Come on, we know every accusation from these people is a confession. My only surprise here is that everybody who's come forward so far is over 18.
Well, they're over 18 now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way this happened, it kind of would only be open to people that are over 18. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so this is the guy. Sound of Freedom was that movie that everybody's like, oh, if you don't like that movie, you must be a pedophile.
You've got to be a child trafficker to not like our
I
propaganda.
I literally, like, did the most mild criticism of the movie. Just, like, I think I compared its revenue to, like, the Barbie movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, look how much less money it made than Barbie after this person predicted that it was going to make a lot of money. Like, that was all I did. And I got so many comments on, like, responding to that, being like, you must be a pedophile. I wonder what's on your hard drive. And like, why wouldn't you...
Wait, those are the exact same things the dude said to me in my death threat I got by email today.
Yeah. It's like, no. It's that the people who made this movie are a bunch of posers who are not actually helping with child trafficking. They're bringing attention to the wrong aspects of the issue. Because, like, the child trafficking as it was portrayed in that movie is not how it actually happens. Like, 99.9% of the time. So, that movie was not helpful. And people that love that movie are all like, oh, no, if you don't like that movie, you must be pro-child sex trafficking. No, I am anti-child sex trafficking, and I am pro using measures that actually work for preventing child sex trafficking, not the stuff that these guys did.
I don't have many comments here because I haven't actually seen that movie. I
haven't seen the movie either. I haven't seen it either. I just commented that the Barbie movie made a shit ton more money than it did. And apparently that makes me a pedophile. I haven't seen the Barbie movie.
I do need to see the Barbie movie, actually.
I actually kind of want to see the Barbie. Like, when I first heard Barbie movie, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch a Barbie movie. What the fuck? But, like, everything I've heard about it is, like, apparently it's, like, really fantastic and amazing. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go see the Barbie movie.
It's amazing what happens when your marketing teams start realizing that appealing to a broader audience instead of the smaller audience you originally built your piece of media for is actually a good thing. Weird that.
Yeah. Yeah. So a bunch of women came forward saying that Tim Ballard abused them sexually and spiritually, I guess.
I guess that would be like manipulating somebody and using their religion as part of it. Like, God wants you to come into this room, that kind of shit.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. So now, if there's one thing that I've learned from having a partner who is studying to become a therapist, it's that a lot of times, like when you talk about things like spirituality or whatever, it's not... This is something that's difficult for me, and she knows I struggle with it, and she kind of pokes fun at me for it all the time. It's like, it's not about whether or not it's true. It's about how this person feels about it, how they interact with that feelings, how they interact with the world based on those feelings.
Yeah.
And so from a therapist perspective, that's like trying to like find tools that they can use to improve their lives or whatever. In this guy's perspective, it's about like getting them to let him grab their tits or whatever. So our involvement with Operation Underground Railroad, that's the organization that Tim Ballard founded, which all of the legitimate organizations that fight child sex trafficking, they have all put out statements being like, we don't work with these people. We recommend that nobody work with these people. The things that they do actually make things worse in the long run.
Oh boy, he's the Autism Speaks of his particular demographic.
Yeah.
Great.
So these women went to work for them because they're like, I want to help children. Like, they legitimately want to help. So they go to work with them. They say, but while engaged in that noble cause, we were subjected to sexual harassment, spiritual manipulation, grooming, and sexual misconduct. And then as part of the statement, they said, we acknowledge that the risks involved in challenging someone as prominent as Tim Ballard, the founder of OUR. We will reveal our stories in our own time and on our own terms, but for now we choose to remain anonymous. Absolutely legitimate,
valid.
Completely legitimate, because every time something like this happens, people come out and like the right-wing people come out and attack the victims of sexual abuse. And it's disgusting. And they attack them because it's like, oh, you want attention. Like, this didn't really happen to you. You're just saying that because you want attention or because you have a grudge against this person or whatever. It's like,
but they're staying anonymous. They're not trying to get attention.
Yeah, well, that's why they're staying anonymous, is because they know that these people get attacked. But it's like there's no benefit to being publicly known as the victim of sexual abuse ever. And yet there's this whole culture online of like, oh no, these women are just like they're clout chasing by accusing prominent people of sexual abuse. Like, no, you don't get clout for being the victim of sexual abuse. You get harassed by right-wing nut jobs.
Like, I'm not going to doubt, just to steel man entirely, I'm not going to doubt that there is at least one or two people who have considered or even tried going the route of trying to gain some amount of prolificness because they were harassed, or because they were not harassed and they want to argue that they were. I'm not doubting that person maybe exists, but this is not one of those scenarios, and that scenario is shockingly rare.
Yeah. So Fennec says, VR, would you do the Barbenheimer thing? What is doing the Barbenheimer thing? Like, is it just watching both those movies back to back?
I've heard that it's a fun bit of whiplash.
I could see that. Yeah. I haven't seen Oppenheimer either, so maybe.
I need to watch them.
That sounds like a long day, though.
The memes that were generated from the announcements for both of those movies were akin to the memes that were generated from the Doom announcement alongside Animal Crossing, where we just got to see Animal Crossing characters running around just slaughtering demons for fun.
All right, so Ballard recently stepped down from his role at the organization amid accusations of sexual misconduct. Vice reports that 7 women claimed that he made unwelcome advances toward them, asking them variously to pretend to be his wife while on trips abroad. He allegedly would ask them to sleep in the same bed with him and shower with him. It's like, oh, you're my wife, so obviously you would shower with me. Okay, Fennec is saying yes, it's just watch them both back to back.
The real question is, which one are you supposed to watch first? Because I'd imagine, like, watching Barbie and then watching Oppenheimer is sobering, but watching Oppenheimer first and then watching Barbie is traumatizing. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this movie right now. Okay, everybody in my chat saying Oppenheimer, then Barbie.
And yeah, but then when you consider the 50s era, scientifically speaking, how many women, like, I don't know how many women worked on the Manhattan Project, but I know, like, for Apollo, there were so many women that were just like kept behind the scenes, and even today we don't know most of their names.
Yeah.
So, like, I could see the theme kind of interplaying there between, like, Oppenheimer if they don't acknowledge the contributions of the women that had significant contributions. But then at the same time, would they want to be acknowledged for that?
You don't,
because it's Oppenheimer. It's the nuke.
There's only so many people who would be incredibly proud to have been part of the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, like to say I helped put man on the moon for the first time ever. That's fucking awesome. To say I helped develop the thing that killed a bunch of Japanese civilians. That's less cool.
I mean, on the one hand, America was more racist against Japanese people back then.
It led to nuclear power, which is pretty fucking spectacular. It's one of the greenest forms of energy that we have. It's got a really bad reputation because of media throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Including but not limited to The Simpsons.
You're going to have an elephant foot in your backyard.
Taking a shit on it and like having the big green sludge pouring out of these nuclear plants. That's not how it is at all.
It's a nuclear power plant is literally just a steam factory.
Basically, yeah.
That's all it is. They're using the cooling of nuclear rods to create steam, and that steam is generating power.
And the newer plants, I'm not sure if any have been officially built yet, but well, officially, how would you unofficially build a nuclear plant?
I've seen some Phineas and Ferb episodes. I'm sure you can manage it.
Where's Perry?
He's there in the end of the episode. Don't worry, he was there the whole time.
I forget what I was even going to say. Whatever. Anyway. Tim Ballard is obviously saying these are baseless inventions. Yeah, these accusations are baseless inventions designed to destroy me and the movement that we've built to end trafficking and exploitation of vulnerable children. So yeah, it's just a coincidence that all the women that work for you accuse you of sexual harassment. Maybe not all.
It's a small coinky-dink.
Yeah, just a coincidence. Oh yeah, he's also been discredited by the Mormon Church. They call the Latter-day Saints. They denounced him, who he is a Mormon, but they denounced him, saying that his actions are generally morally unacceptable. The representative for the Mormon Church did not specify which actions they were talking about.
I feel like that would be interesting information to work with. Just the Mormon Church doesn't like you. Everybody gets really excited, and then suddenly because you diddle kids. Oh.
Why would you say diddle kids right before I was about to go off on a tangent?
I didn't know you were about to go off on a tangent.
Well, you should be inside my brain at all times, Cyrus.
I don't want to be inside you, Vice.
I want you inside me, Cyrus.
Oh, God.
Somebody clip that. Send that to me on Twitter. Anyway, some Brenna said thorium salt liquid fuel reactors are the absolute best next to fusion. So what I was going to say is that the problem with nuclear power is the fuel, but the newest plants can use not the fuel, the waste. The newest plants can use the waste from the older plants as fuel, and then their waste decays on the order of like decades as opposed to thousands of years. So like, you only need to store it. You only need to make provisions to store it for like a couple hundred years, maybe at most.
So it's actually future-proofed.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Fennec says, Heidi, come get your man. Heidi is my partner, for those of you who don't know.
It solves the general confusion when she had the moniker Ocean Waves, I think it was. And every time I read it, my brain immediately went, "Oceans at your house?" But wait a minute.
Yeah, no, I must admit that I was a bit. I got confused by that a couple times as well. She is not paying attention. She doesn't watch most of the streams. She'll like pop in and out just to like say things in the comments and like tease me and stuff. But she doesn't watch most of it. Oh, she's here. She's here. There we go.
Just saying I'm here with no other context is probably makes all the Sonic fans in my community go nuts.
I'm not sure if she heard the bit about me wanting you inside me. All right, so that's it for that. Let's go to tweets. Where's my button? There's my button. Oh, I have 54 followers now. Yay. Still gonna turn that off because I'm...
Hello, Congressman Troy. Stoff says, is that permission? Stoff, I'm not going to say it's not permission. I'm just going to say that you've already got a project you're working on for me that I'm going to be paying you for.
She says she watches most of it. Okay, she probably does, but like a lot of times I'm streaming when she's working. She teaches yoga, and she usually teaches on Wednesday nights, but she's recovering from carpal tunnel surgery right now. If it makes you happy, go for it. So Cirrus, my partner says you are welcome to be inside me.
Oh, okay. I'll go take a trip up to Canada real quick. It'll be fine.
All right. Congressman Troy Nels says, Kevin McCarthy will not be running again as Speaker. I nominate Donald J. Trump for Speaker of the House. And I chose this one because I kind of want Trump to be nominated for Speaker because he's not going to actually do the job.
He's not going to do it.
He does not.
In any case.
He does not want to be Speaker of the House. He does not want a job where you have to actually show up and do shit.
Not to mention, being Speaker of the House is different than just getting up on a podium and saying whatever the fuck you like. There's decorum you have to follow.
Yeah. No, he wants to just get in front of a crowd of people who are his sycophants and say what he wants. Like, say that you need to flush your toilet 10 times and have everybody go, yeah, when he says you have to flush your toilet 10 times because that's his thing.
This is like when you have your favorite YouTuber and you go, oh my God, I want to see them act in a movie. That would be amazing. And then you see the movie that has your favorite YouTuber in it and it's absolute hog garbage. It's almost like there's a difference between the type of job of doing a YouTube video and going up and being involved in Hollywood. Just like there's a difference between talking to a bunch of sycophants who will hear you say anything and be happy.
So Fennec is saying, the fan art folks are going to go absolutely ham, right? And then Naramdaputs responded with, I don't think Vice has ever seen a fan art he disliked. That is true. I like all my fan art. I appreciate... So even if I don't like the art style itself, I appreciate the effort that goes into making it. And I can see skill even if I don't like the style. So like, even if it's not something that like I would want to like print out and hang on my wall, I can appreciate the effort that goes into it. Even like, and I understand that like style is different depending on the person.
I actually have some of the fan art people have submitted in my office right now in my china cabinet.
Yeah.
Like I like getting fan art, even if it's meant to traumatize me.
So Nana SOF says, can you be Speaker when you're not a member of Congress? Yes, you can. However, I think I might be wrong on this one, but my understanding is that the Republicans actually passed a bit of legislation that prevented you from being nominated as Speaker of the House if you are under indictment. So because of Republican legislation, Donald Trump would be ineligible to be Speaker of the House, which would be fucking hilarious. But
as of 7 hours ago, Bloomberg actually did an article on this exactly saying that he's indicted, so he's not eligible.
There you go. But yeah, I would actually really love to see him be nominated for Speaker, because like to see him try and pander to his audience that would like clearly want him to be Speaker, well, not actually wanting to be Speaker, I think that would be hilarious to see.
You just want to see the man suffer through an existential crisis.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. Completely valid. I'm okay with that.
Andrew Steffen says, okay, so I posted a thing about how, like, Republican records versus Democrat records. Republican records are like most impeachments for president. okay, technically it's 2 and 2, but like 2 of them are the same president, and also the one from the 1800s was before the parties switched, so it may as well have been a Republican. Like, he was impeached for not wanting to protect the freed slaves after they were freed, essentially.
Yeah,
so that seems more like a Republican thing than a Democrat thing today.
Yeah, that's early Democratic Party.
Yeah.
God. Fun fact: I live next to Stone Mountain, which is the place where the third resurgence of the KKK happened. It's great, isn't it?
Nice. Well, I mean, you're in MTG's riding.
Yeah. What do you expect?
But then this person says, also, shouldn't you refrain from criticizing American political parties when your own kangaroo court of a Canadian parliament gave 2 standing ovations to a literal Nazi? Like, well, we went into the history of that today.
Yeah, it turns out there's...
How did Canada handle that sort of situation?
Stepping down in shame?
The person stepped down in shame, and then the first black speaker of the House was elected to replace them. That's pretty great.
Which is completely opposite of what we would have gotten here in the States.
Yeah. In the States, it would have been doubling down, been like, no, he's not a Nazi because of... Like, just because he literally was a Nazi and literally fought for the Nazis doesn't mean he's a Nazi today.
You liberals will call anybody you don't like a Nazi.
Even if they were just, like, literally a Nazi. Ugh. Anyway. Oh, Bridget Gabriel says, we need a Speaker of the House who's prepared for battle like President Donald J. Trump. Okay.
Is all she does anymore just AI generate shitty images of Trump?
It is.
Also,
I saw this. Fuck the image. I don't care about the image. It's stupid. Who cares? It's an AI generated lifeless piece of crap.
It is, but it looks like he's in a judge's outfit under the fucking thing. It's weird.
It does, because AI sucks at reading your prompts. Like that was a big thing when what was it? DALL-E, when DALL-E came, like, I think it was the 3rd revision or whatever. They were like, "Hey, we've improved its ability to not ignore parts of your prompt." Like, why
was it doing that in the first place?
Why was it ignoring the prompt in the first place? Because that was the thing. Like, you saw all these amazing things people were doing with AI art, but then it turned out that, like, oh, they had to, like, play with the prompts for, like, several hours in order to get it to actually do what they wanted, because, like, any casual use of the thing, it just didn't do it. Like, you saw some of the horror escapes that I accidentally created and couldn't share on stream because they were not safe for work.
Guys, I don't want to talk about the things Rhino has shared with me privately.
Yeah.
They're scary.
Anyway, so this brought to mind a particular clip from Game of Thrones, which actually, let me just quickly change my thing. Chat mic. Audio? Chat, you should hear my system sounds, which should include that. Can you...
I don't hear your system sounds.
You didn't just hear a ding?
Nope.
I don't understand what's going on, because this is going to be not funny for you if you...
I can listen to it in post. Like, I'm on your stream as well, so I can just listen to it on there in a second.
Okay, well, whatever. Hopefully you'll just hear it, and, like, I did something differently that it'll work. But, yeah, so this reminded me of this clip. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? Come on. Where'd it go?
You heard the hand. The king's too fat for his armor. Go find the breastplate stretcher. Now!
Okay, there we go. I actually did hear that one.
You did hear that one? Okay,
Go
good.
find the breastplate stretcher. The king's too fat for his armor.
King's too fat for his armor. Go find the breastplate stretcher. That's what that made me think of. And so I wanted to share it with everybody. But yeah, no, so I don't get Nick Adams tweets anymore because making fun of Nick Adams feels like making fun of a child. It's like, oh, I can dunk on this 5-year-old. It's like, that just feels unfair. And Bridget Gabriel seems like, I don't know, I feel like she's Nick Adams' sock account. So like I'm on the verge of like not getting any of her tweets anymore either, because just like the things that she says are just so fucking stupid. It's just like it feels unfair to be dunking on her.
It might feel unfair to be dunking on her, but just remember, she's probably the type of person to not care at all when it comes to dunking on somebody like you.
Yeah, but I also know that she is incapable of dunking on me. Because anything that she says, the appropriate response would just be, that's cute.
I thought you were going to say anything she says can and will be used against her.
Probably that too, actually, yeah. Andres Pierano says, explain how evolution created a taste for music, nostalgia, faith, or even just the eyeball. Okay, I know he's talking about how the eyeball evolved, but the way he said that was like, why do people enjoy eating eyeballs? Like that's how it reads.
This music tastes good. This nostalgia tastes like nostalgia.
Well, okay, no. Like that's like you enjoy music, you enjoy nostalgia, you enjoy faith, or you enjoy the eyeball. How do you enjoy the eyeball? Well, it's like either using it or eating it. Those are really the only two ways you could enjoy an eyeball.
I use it for jelly.
And... Sure. So was there an eyeless being that suddenly popped a whole eyeball, or was there a retina there millions of years before the other parts of the eyeball? Makes zero sense. Yeah, okay, the evolution of the eye is pretty basic at this point. Darwin explained it in his fucking book in 1858.
Little pieces event, like we literally do get little bits and pieces. An animal develops a need for a small fraction of what our eyesight can do, as we have found that there are animals right now that, for instance, they can see shapes, but they can't tell any distinct colors or anything because in their environments, they just don't fucking need it.
They're friggin' single-celled organisms that can detect light. They can't see anything, but they have a light-sensitive patch on them. Where it's like,
that's the starting bit
useful
for an eyeball.
Yeah, because an eyeball is just a bunch of light-sensitive patches with a lens.
And then it processes an image upside down in your brain. That was always a weird thing in the diagram seeing as a kid, where they were just like, yeah, by the way, it flips the image, puts it upside down.
Yeah. Apparently you can actually get glasses where it'll flip the image upside down so that you're actually seeing it upside right. And if you wear those glasses for like a day or two straight, your brain will just automatically compensate for it. And so you'll start to see things upside right again, even though it's being like,
that sounds really
it's like being triple flipped or whatever. Yeah, no, it's weird.
Human brain is fascinating.
It is. Okay. Next up. Okay, so this is funny because it's a comment on my live stream from yesterday. It says, hard for me to support a YouTuber who only allows people to comment on their live streams if they pay the YouTuber first, he says in a comment on my live stream.
Which means that he either is paying or is proving that that wasn't the case.
Well, I think what he means is I typically on my live streams, I set it to subscribers only, just to like kind of slow down the chat so that people can read it. And so that like people that aren't subscribed, it's either you have to subscribe and then wait a minute in order to do, so it's like an actual, like it's not a barrier, but it's enough of a barrier that if you don't have anything important to say, you're not going to say it. So it kind of filters out the unimportant stuff. So one of two things happened here. Either this guy is just completely making shit up, and so he's commented on a thing that he says that he can't comment on, or he like misread the word subscriber or misunderstood what subscribing is and thinks that it requires payment, which it does not.
He might be stuck in Twitch lingo.
Maybe. That's possible. Or maybe he heard, because I didn't say that in this stream, but in previous streams, this is on my stream with my partner. So on previous streams, I had said, like, because what we're doing is we're reading through a Christian marriage book, and the whole thing started, well, like we were driving up north for a weekend getaway one time, and we found this book, and she was just like reading it to me as we drove, just for fun. And it was fucking hilarious. So I was like, I did the thing that all white men do and was like, this should be a podcast.
Don't talk to me about the fact that I'm actually starting another podcast soon. God damn it.
That's what white people do. We start podcasts. But yeah, so we came back and it was like, okay, well, we should actually start a podcast with this. And the first couple episodes it didn't have the same dynamic. So I was like, you know what? I think we were interacting with the chat too much, because the thing that made it hilarious and fun was it was just us talking to each other. So it's like, unless you send a super chat, I'm just going to ignore the chat. And so that is a legitimate thing where I have said, I'm going to ignore you unless you pay me. But that is for the purpose of the show, in order to make it more entertaining, because like it interferes with our camaraderie together if I'm constantly talking to the people in the chat.
Yeah, that's why on Sunset City we did a similar thing. We read super chats at the end of every podcast, but we don't touch the chat during the show, because the conversation between the host and the co-hosts.
Yeah, I've tried to do stuff like that, but too many times YouTube is just like, all of the records of the previous super chats during the chat have just disappeared, where it's like, oh, I meant to like acknowledge all those super chats that we're collecting throughout the thing, but they're not there anymore.
Oh, so they actually have a fix for that now.
Oh, do they?
If you're looking at your chat on not the back end stream that you get as a creator, but as a viewer while being the owner of the channel, if you click on the top chat live chat thing, a third drop down is there now called fan funding.
Yeah, no, I know that's there. But like, why is that necessary in the first place? Like, it should just be in the fucking back end where you would expect it to be.
But it disappears in the back end. You're right. I don't know why. I don't know why they had to do that, but it was the one thing we found that allowed us to not have problems.
Jethro Elfman says that could be good for me. Sometimes I'm here. I'm just so drunk I should keep quiet. Yeah, no, I do more drinking than I ever do for the rest of my life while on streams. So I'm finishing my third and I'm about to start my fourth, and that's more than I normally have in a night. But yeah, anyway, he also says, I guess Vice Rhino only wants to interact with his fanboys that will pay him and are afraid to address countering remarks. Coward. It's like, okay. I'm not afraid to address countering remarks. However, that stream is explicitly it's meant to be, she reads a marriage book and then we riff about it for a bit. It's not the send me your countering remarks and I will argue with you stream. If you want
me liberal,
if you want that, go to The Line, go to the Transatlantic Show, go to the Atheist Experience, go to one of those call-in shows. That's what those shows are for. My show is to just read a Christian marriage book and be like, haha, that's silly.
But no, Rhino, don't you understand? You owe every human being in the world all of your time. All of them. Every single one.
I mean, if they're all going to pay me, sure.
No. You just owe it by merit.
No, you got to pay me. Dollar each. Every person in the world, pay me $1 each.
Well, then you might have like $5.
If every person in the world paid me $1 each?
Yeah, you might have like $5.
I'd be richer than Trump if every person in the world paid me $1 each.
If you had $5, you'd be richer than Trump too. I'm damn near certain.
Actually, come to think of it, like, if you do the debts versus assets thing, and if he ends up being on the negative end of that, I might be richer than Trump. A lot of people might be richer than Trump.
Just a little kid getting his allowance for the first time, richer than Trump.
Naramdaputs sent $1. Thank you, Naramdaputs. One down, 7,999,999,999 to go.
Are we counting the children? Do they have to pay $1 too?
Okay, subtract 2 billion.
Okay.
I'll leave the kids alone. They don't need to pay me.
What about the elderly and infirm?
Heidi says, hashtag not all humans.
Jesus. I like how he says, don't post some stupid remark about comments in here helping the YouTube algorithm.
So I'm not good at snark. I mean, I'm kind of good at snark sometimes, but like, I know the appropriate snarky response to this would have been just like, thanks for the algorithm engagement. Just leave it at that with like a smiley face. Oh my God, people are sending, Scott Dillahunt sent $1 and now Nana SOF sent $1. Thank you guys. I appreciate your dollars.
Jesus Christ.
Does Heidi have to pay? She has other ways that she pays. And it's worth a lot more than $1, let me say. And there she is saying, "Oh, I already pay."
Wow.
Dark Falcon sent 10, so picking up the slack for some of the other people. Okay, yeah, he says, please don't post some stupid remark. The appropriate thing for me to do would have just been to respond with, thanks for the engagement. It helps with the algorithm. Oh, some idiot named Surus just sent me $1.
I don't know who the fuck that is. Sounds like a weirdo.
It is a weirdo. Ooh. Jester Lord of Fools sent $2. Said, if they vote Republican, they still owe $1.
If they vote Republican, they owe $2.
Wait.
Heidi, get your man, collect him.
Did we say something sexual? Pegging? I don't remember making a sex joke. Savage sent $1.69. Oh my, guys, nice. I didn't actually expect you all to send me $1.
No,
Adam Broughton.
Everybody send Vice Rhino all of your money.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Actress Rhino's just getting showered in money. At least he is showering.
I showered right before the stream.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Self-care is good.
All right. Yeah. And then we got Steve Pickray says, God exists. God doesn't exist. God, I'm right here. I wrote down what I wanted you to know specifically in the Bible. Maybe you should read it. So,
but even in biblical canon, God didn't write the Bible. What?
Yeah. And we also have the fact that the Bible says stuff like, you can buy slaves from the nations around you.
It's only rape if she screams.
It's only rape if she screams. Yeah, that's in the Bible.
Yep.
Slaves, obey your earthly masters with fear and trembling, or fear and respect.
Especially if they believe in Christ.
Yeah, be better for your master if they're Christian than if they're not.
Yep.
Yeah, Bible's got a lot of bad shit in it. And
it also says don't boil your don't boil goat in its mother's milk.
Yeah, that's one of the 10 commandments.
Yeah, that is one of the original 10 commandments that actually made it into the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, so no, that's not the original 10 commandments.
The ones that actually made it in.
Yeah. That was the replacement.
The original ones got
it was in the list of ones that God said would be identical to the first list, after giving a list that was not identical to the first list.
I'm still fairly certain that one came about just because a guy was like, I'm really tired of my wife making this fucking stew. God told you not to make that stew anymore.
Yeah. Oh, also, Jesus said, I do not come to bring peace but a sword. So Prince of Peace said that.
And then he got mad when Peter used a sword on a Roman.
And he said, bring my enemies and slaughter them before me. That's the thing that Jesus said.
The Bible also said you'll be happy if you dash your enemies' children's heads on the rocks.
Yeah, it did say that, yeah.
Isn't the Bible fun?
Yeah. It's funny how atheists know the Bible better than Christians. It also says, there she lusted after her lovers whose emissions were like those of a donkey and whose members were like those of a horse. It might have been emissions of the horse and the members of the donkey. I don't know. I got those two mixed up a lot.
My favorite part was when the most moral man in Sodom,
offered up his daughters for rape, for gang rape.
Yeah. I mean, he got his come.
My favorite is when they. My favorite is when they retold that story, and it wasn't Lot and his daughters. It was some guy and his concubine, and his concubine actually was raped, and she was raped to death. And he responded to that by chopping her body up and mailing the bits to the 12 corners of Israel.
I like how one of the most wise people in the entire Bible, his way of dealing with people not knowing whose kid somebody was to say, just saw him in half. Just saw the kid in half. And then you both can take one half of the kid.
It's like, who wrote that down and was like, yeah, no, the woman whose kid it's not would be fine with that. It's like, no, I don't want any kids to be sawed in half, whether it's mine or not. You could show me a complete stranger's child who I've never met before and been like, hey,
to prove the power of flex tape, I sawed this kid in half.
To prove this isn't your child, I'm going to saw it in half, and you're not going to care about that. Like, no, don't saw that child in half. That's a child.
For anybody familiar with the big green dub of Dragon Ball Z, let that child alone.
Oh, you and your anime.
Yes. I'm in the middle of I just finished watching the last Evangelion movie with Saki, and we're also going to be watching all of One Piece, which is 1,000 episodes long. Kill me.
I started Cowboy Bebop with Heidi, but I feel like we're not going to continue it.
Why?
I don't know. We just haven't. We kind of forgot about it. It's not that it's bad. It's that it hasn't really grabbed us.
Bebop takes about 10-ish episodes.
No, don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. I haven't watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine because everybody's like, oh, you gotta wait until season 4.
Bebop's only like a 50-episode show.
And so you want me to watch 20% of it before it gets good?
It's not that it gets good. It doesn't start off crap. I'm not talking about Steven Universe. Steven Universe starts out crap. That's crap for 50 episodes and then just magically becomes good. It's weird. Bebop just takes a little bit of time. The establishment episodes they feel very establishment episodes.
Sure.
Oh, it's not 50 episodes. It's 26 episodes.
26. That makes it worse. You're telling me that more than half of it, or well, almost half of it, is just garbage establishment.
That's so early 2000s and late 90s anime. For the 26 episode anime runs, that was actually kind of normal. Eva did the same thing. Eva was like 12 episodes of a mech anime that turned into psychological horror randomly.
37% of U.S. dog owners are afraid of canine autism? What?
Striker says, what about Bleach? What about a show that doesn't exist until the Soul Society? What do you want from me, Striker?
I don't know what you're even saying.
So I haven't seen Bleach, but I have a lot of friends who are Bleach fans, and most of them have said that like the show is shit until the Soul Society arc, which is like season 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, cool.
Okay.
The difference between Bleach and Bebop for me is I don't want to watch 500 episodes of Bleach. I can watch 26 episodes of Bebop.
Fair enough. All right, Steve again says, Senator Diane, this gives you an idea of what kind of person this is. Senator Feinstein died. If she rejected Christ, then she is burning in hell. Every person alive today needs to understand that tomorrow is not guaranteed, no matter how much money you have or how important the world thinks you are. Trust Christ while you still can. And these are the same people that will say that we are monsters for saying that, like, I am glad that Pat Robertson is dead. They'll say we're monsters for saying, like, I don't think he's being tortured for eternity. I'm not telling his family that he's being tortured for eternity. He's just not, we don't have to deal with him anymore. And I'm glad that we don't have to deal with him anymore. And I'm a monster for being glad that I don't have to deal with him anymore. And yet the same people that say I'm a monster for that will be like, Diane Feinstein is burning in hell. She is in conscious torment for the rest of eternity. Mwahaha! They're literal cartoon villains. You still there, Cyrus?
I'm still here. I just love that this is the exact time that Yumi decided to raid me. Now her entire audience is just, and her audience are regular VTuber video game watchers, and they're watching us do this stuff, and they're just like, huh, this is perfect. This is the deep end of what I do on my channel. Hi everybody.
Oh, I'm the deep end.
No. So I also play video games on this exact same channel, so it's a roll of the dice sometimes for these people.
I am the deep end.
You said you wanted me inside you an hour
You can be
into the stream.
inside me really deep.
Oh, boy. Hi, Yumi. How was your stream?
I don't know. So I'm okay with depth. It's the breadth that is the issue. So like as long as you're narrow and deep.
Jesus Christ. Tommen says, Yumi, you don't get to choose who we raid from now on. Yumi doesn't get to choose who she raids on her own stream. All right, Tommen, I have an idea for you. Instead of Yumi raiding me, I will just go to Yumi's house and crash her stream because I know where she lives. I'll just do that.
Blade Runner says, come into Rhino's deep end.
Come into Rhino's deep end. So do it, no balls. All right, Yumi, let Tessa know that I'll be over in just about 4 hours. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God. Why are we?
Please do not the stream.
I have 55 followers now.
I think we can get that number even bigger. I think we can go higher. I think we can piss on the moon.
We can get deeper. Cirrus doesn't need to peg au natural.
Big dude Sammy, thank you for the follow.
Jester Lord of Fools says the deep end is tuning in for Cirrus to say MTG. Roll the dice to see what that means.
It's a coin flip on whether I'm talking about my piece of shit representative or if I'm talking about a card game ran by a piece of shit company
Fair
that
enough.
I still really enjoy.
Fair enough. Oh, that was the last tweet.
Oh, sweet. Perfect.
Oh. Stop the stupid is welcome to basic. I still haven't changed the name of my my membership tiers. So you basic.
Just get that scene from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. The doctor says you're basic.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the tweets. Are you going to be live after the stream is over?
Yes, I'm still going to be going. I've got 4 more topics I want to cover, and apparently I've got a new batch of people to traumatize.
Okay. Would it be harmful to your metrics if I said, can we like chat backstage for a few minutes before you go live there?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So, yeah, with that out of the way, fuck off.